After paddling out to Philip Edward Island and finding a great campsite, we enjoy a delicious supper and a lightning show before having to retreat into our tent when the storm hits. Now that the storm is over, it's time to enjoy our first full day, cooking up some great meals and enjoy the summer-like weather. So, I just came out to drain the main vein, and it is thick like pea soup out here. If you look over there, normally you could see all the islands and all the way down Georgian Bay, but you can't see anything past this island. And you can see everything is just gloomy and foggy, misty, whatever you want to call it. It just feels very thick and very wet. It's not exactly the nicest feeling today, but hopefully the sun will come up and burn this all off and dry us all out. But wow, quite the storm last night.
We're under a heat warning.
Under a heat warning, and no guff. That was very, like, of all the sleeps I had over the summer, that was like the most uncomfortable. Like the hottest and the muggiest. It was just blah. I'm not surprised that we had that huge thunderstorm. If it continues like this, there might be more thunderstorms. Okay, this morning, so funny because we didn't think there was going to be rain on this trip. We didn't bring pot meals, like stove pot meals. For breakfast we were going to cook with a Dutch oven, and so of course we need fire and we need wood and we need a fireplace and all that jazz. So fire pit. So we obviously have that on this campsite, and we got tons of wood yesterday, but we got that downpour yesterday, so everything is pretty much soaking wet. And we didn't even bring an extra tarp to put the wood in. So when it started raining, all of a sudden we didn't even have a chance to go out and put the wood underneath either the canoe or our bug shelter. So I did get the fire started. If you can look over here, I've got the pot of water ready to boil, and you can see our pile of wood that's soaking wet. And little pointer that I'll tell you about is that I use these things. They look like little pellets. They're like pretty much like about 1 inch diameter, or actually less than 1 inch, and they're fuel tablets, and you can buy them at any outdoor store. If you want to be quick and easy, you can take one of these pellets, light it, and start, because it stays lit for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. You can just add small little twigs, and as they dry, they'll catch onto the bigger ones, and it just so on and so on. You just start adding bigger pieces, and as it dries, you can put wetter pieces and bigger pieces, and then eventually it'll catch on. And then you could just put the bigger pieces around the fire, dry that, and just keep adding to fire. So that's what I did. It took me a little while. It didn't take me that long, maybe about 20 minutes. And as you can see, I got a full fire going on. And now at this point in time, I can just put wet pieces of wood in. Remember, these wood are actually dry inside. It's just the outside that it's wet, and so once it burns off the water on the outside, it'll burn really well. So that's what's happening now. I just put in the wet wood, and it catches no problem. It dries off immediately. Once we get this water boiled and we have our morning coffee, we're gonna we bought a bag of briquettes or charcoal, and we're gonna get them all heated up, and then we're gonna prepare our breakfast, it's gonna be a breakfast bake. I don't know which one we're gonna do. We have one with hash brown, I think, and is it bacon? I can't remember. And then one that's more of a sweeter one, which has got like cinnamon rolls and egg and things like that. So I'll tune you in once we start. but I just want to get this water boiling. It is brightening up, it is getting lighter, but it's still soupy, like it's like foggy still all over the place. We've got some, I think, campers on the other island just directly ahead of us, and we heard them this morning. So we've got some neighbors, but I heard them chopping away. They kind of stopped immediately, so I don't know if they're trying to get into some dry wood, but if they didn't get any dry wood yesterday, they're probably out of luck. I bet you they're envious of us. They could probably smell the smoke. Gotta watch my poodle here. He's gonna grab one of these things and run. He's checking out all the ingredients. If I wasn't here, I'm sure he would walk off with them quietly. He's been known to do that. Finally got the fire started, and we're just enjoying our cup of coffee. It's a late morning. I think it's what? Probably like closer to 10 now, I think. I'm going to show you what we're going to have for breakfast this morning. So the first thing is that we're going to use a Dutch oven. I think many of you guys are familiar with Dutch ovens. They're normally, you know them as cast iron. They're black and they're pretty heavy. And this one is a cast aluminum one, so it's lighter than a cast iron, and the color is gray opposed to black. Now this is a 10-inch size. I think you can get them in a 12-inch, a bigger one, but obviously for Anita and I, 10 inches more than sufficient. So first of all, we need this, and what we're going to have is, Anita, what's the name of this meal? Do we even know the name?
No.
I think we kind of made it up, I guess, right?
Yep.
So basically, what we're going to do is, this is a Pillsbury cinnamon rolls package, and what we're going to do is with this, once we open it, we're going to cut it up into small squares, and what we're going to do is mix that with a couple eggs. So we're going to get some protein in there, and so it won't be too sweet. And then what we're going to mix in there is chopped up almond pieces. Are these toasted? Yeah, they're toasted. So almond pieces. We're going to also put in dehydrated apples. And then lastly, we're going to put a nice dollop of butter in there. We're going to actually take the butter and coat the inside, the bottom of the Dutch oven, so nothing sticks. And then we'll also add a little bit more when we mix everything together. And then what we've done is we bought a bag of briquettes, and this helps because it ensures that you get consistent heat and an equal amount of heat. Problem is when you put it on the bed of and you can do that, you can put it on the bed of coals, but you'll get intense heat at the bottom and not so much heat on the top. So by doing it this way, it'll make it a little easier. So what we'll do is take probably maybe about a dozen on the bottom, put the Dutch oven on top, and then put about a dozen briquettes on top of it, on the lid. And then what we're going to do is wrap it up in tin foil and make it kind of like a chimney, and we'll leave an air hole at the top. And basically there'll be minimal amount of oxygen, but enough so that it will stay hot. And we'll bake it for about maybe 20 minutes or so, and then it should be ready to be taken out, and then it will be nicely baked, and then we'll have our breakfast late. It will be a brunch actually at this point in time. So we'll get started and we'll show you the process along the way. I've just added the briquettes to the fire pit. Kind of smoldering right now because the wood pretty much just burned off. I just threw some wood on top. You can see here. It's hard to see. The only thing we forgot was to bring metal tongs to grab the briquettes. So this will be a little bit challenging. We'll probably have to use sticks like chopsticks, and hopefully they'll work that way. Okay, so we got the briquettes in the fire pit going. Anita's going to tend to that, and we'll get the food ready. So first of all, we'll get all the dirt out of the Dutch oven. And what we're going to do is take a little napkin, and we're going to coat the inside of the Dutch oven with some butter so it doesn't stick. So I'll just put a little bit on here, the napkin. And just go ahead and just grease it all up. Nothing too fancy. You also want to grease the sides too, right? Because I'm sure there's going to be some excess. Touching the sides. So one thing about on a backcountry trip, you don't have to worry about calories because there's a good chance that you'll burn it all off. So I did it midway up the Dutch oven because it's not going to be a lot of food because it's just the two of us. And that's pretty much it. You can throw that in the fire. And as you can see, the butter is nicely coated the bottom of the pan. So I'll set that aside. I'll cover that for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to open the cinnamon roll and we're going to cut it up into small bite-sized pieces. Because those pieces will, as they cook, it will expand, it will get bigger. So, the question is, how do we open this? Isn't there a specific way? Oh yeah, a little tab here. So we'll roll that. Is this supposed to pop or something?
Read the instructions.
Oh! There we go.
Always helps to read the instructions.
I'll show you here. They are... The only thing that sucks is my splint on my finger. But they're in rolls like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them in quarters. And just throw them in. So I'm almost done here. Cut the rolls up. It's we did this dish once years, well, it might have been a year ago or so. This is our only second time doing. This is the icing. I accidentally popped it open when I was opening the container. So there's super sweet icing. Should we put this in after or?
It's after.
It's all kind of spelt out.
It's after.
All right. Okay, so here's the cinnamon rolls cut up in the Dutch oven. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a few more things. So we're going to add the dehydrated apples, throw them in there. So we'll just add some chopped roasted almonds. There we go. Okay, so what we've done is we've added the dehydrated apples. I've just added a bunch of flaked roasted almonds. I've got the 2 eggs. I'm going to put the eggs in here and I'm going to mix it all up. Okay, so I've cracked the eggs in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix it all together, and then I think that's it, right? And then we will basically get the briquettes out, and then we'll start the bake. So you see Teddy's ready to jump in and help consume the food before it's even cooked. Hey Teddy, you ready for it? Last time I baked it, we baked it for 4 people, so it was a lot more substantial. I don't think this is going to have to take too long to cook. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Okay, like I said, we don't have the metal tongs, so we just found this metal tray there. So what we're going to do is flick them all on here and then get it up onto the flat surface. So you want to make sure the briquettes are nice and white, and you know they're ready. So I put about 10. I said 10, but actually it was 20. 10 for each side. Okay, done. Okay, just kind of put them out in and around a circle. And we'll put the Dutch oven right on top. And then we'll put the remaining 10 on top. The same pattern on top. Okay, and I'm going to wrap it with tin foil. At this point, we lost audio, so I will explain what's going on here. Now with the briquettes below and above the Dutch oven, we get a nice long strip of aluminum foil and wrap it snugly around it, ensuring the foil also reaches the bottom. Then, we create a peak at the top with a small hole to allow the heat to escape. The reason for wrapping is twofold: to keep the heat in, as well as reducing the amount of oxygen so the briquettes burn slowly and provide sustained moderate heat. Then, we let it sit for approximately 20 minutes and it should be done. You can easily unwrap and open the Dutch oven to check the contents, and rewrap it if it needs more time. Okay, so Anita was wondering how hot it was going to get, and I got her to feel it, and it is pretty hot. Like, you could feel the heat from here, but especially you could feel the heat coming out of the top here. Whew, that's hot. So, oh yeah. So it's definitely baking in there. So we've gone probably about almost 10 minutes. We'll wait another 10 minutes, and then we'll open her up and see how it's doing. If it needs some more time, we'll leave it in obviously a little longer. We just need to wrap it again. It's easy enough. You can just lift the top and take a look in there, and just close it again and then wrap it again. But otherwise, it is definitely pumping out some heat. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes, so we'll take a look, and if it's ready, of course, we'll dive in, and if it's not, we'll leave it for about another 5 minutes or so. Of course, you could put more briquettes to make it hotter to cook faster, but there's some wrap us. Okay, so whoa, ooh, that's hot. Take a look at this. It's nicely browned and crisp. I think it's pretty much ready. It looks like it's nicely baked, as you can see. And I'm just going to take a little taste test. It's really good. So, being that it's a smaller quantity, we probably could have pulled this off probably 5 minutes earlier, because it is a little burnt at the bottom. But it's okay, we'll just take from the top, and there'll be plenty to eat for between Anita and I. But again, sometimes it's hard to gauge. Last time I cooked it, it was colder. Actually, let me take it off the briquettes right now. Last time it was colder. We had double the quantity for 4 people, So we left it for about 20-25 minutes. Today we left it for 20 minutes. We probably could have got away with 15 minutes. So again, you just have to kind of practice, trial and error, and that's what we're doing. Just because we haven't baked with the Dutch oven a lot. And we're going to do another one tomorrow morning, and we'll play with that one as well. But for now, time to eat. Brunch. Yummy. You can see the bottom is kind of burnt, so we won't touch the bottom. We'll have to soak that in some water. But probably could have cooked in about 15 minutes instead of the 20 minutes that we gave. Okay, that's good. We're good to go. So, how is it? Delicious?
Very good. Especially seeing as it's what, 11 o'clock and it's breakfast.
You got...
I think you got more than me though. I might have to beat you up. And he had also the few bites over there while he was taste testing.
I know. I was slaving over the hot coals to make this, so... I'm pretty sure I burned more calories.
I don't think so.
Mmm. It's delicious. We put a little bit of the icing. There's a lot more icing there, but we don't like things super sweet. But it is really, really good. Certainly not a meal that, if you're rushed, you're going to make. Unless you start really early in the morning and have it all cooked for your fellow paddlers. Maybe the last morning, if you're close to the end, that would be a nice treat. Really, it doesn't actually take a long time. The prep time is like 10 minutes the most.
Yeah, but you have to keep that cinnamon bun cold, right? Otherwise it's going to explode on its own.
Okay.
So.
Good point. So
You'd have to do it on the first day.
Yeah.
And you would just have to get very early.
Yeah. Because really, you get your fire going, you put your briquettes in, that takes only like 10 minutes to prepare. When the briquettes are hot, put it down, wrap it up, and in 15-20 minutes you're good to go. Doesn't take a lot of time, but she made a good point. It's the cinnamon roll that if it gets warm, it will pop. So I guess you can't really have it on the end of like a 5 or 6 day trip, especially in the warm weather.
No, you'd have to come up with a different recipe.
Yep.
Like a Bannock cinnamon roll.
Yeah. Maybe we'll come up with something different for those who want to have this at the end of a trip. So, well, these are all the ideas that we're going to play with and try different things. So, who knows what we'll come up with. But we'll certainly let you know. But for now, excuse us as we chow down this delicious breakfast.
Hungry. This is breakfast. It's like 12 o'clock.
Teddy wants a little bit of the action, right, buddy? I know. Yummy. So there you have it. A cinnamon roll apple almond breakfast bake completed. Now, on to the next item. So, we had a late breakfast, or what we call a brunch, and it's kind of blending into lunch. Lunch, we were going to make some bannock and have it with, what was it? What were we going to have it with, jam or honey?
You have a choice because we're very special this week. Peanut butter, honey, or jam.
And we've got 3 things. So our bannock, we're not going to, obviously, you can do all kinds of things with bannock. Bannock, in its plainest form, it's unleavened bread, and you can make it sweeter. You can put all kinds of berries, nuts, and make it hearty that way. That way you don't have to eat it with anything else. But we're going to make a plain bannock, and then we're gonna put dollops of peanut butter and jam or honey on it, just to give it some good flavor to it. So it's really your choice. So what we're gonna do today for our lunch, or late lunch, is we're gonna try a cornflower bannock. Okay, so the ingredients is pretty much just white flour. Is it cornmeal?
Corn flour,
Corn flour, and anything else?
sugar, salt, and some shortening.
You basically mix everything here together, so it makes it easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a pot. This is our nice fire pot. I'm going to mix that in there. I'm going to mix it with 1 cup of water, and then I knead it for a little bit. And then what we're going to do from there, we've got a little baking round baking pan, and we've got parchment paper. Now, you don't need to use parchment paper. It just makes it clean and tidy, and you know, you don't have to worry about cleaning your pan. If you don't have parchment paper, you can just get like grease, whether butter or shortening or something, and then just coat the inside and on the sides of it. Now, if I recall, we're going to still grease it, right? I think? Yeah, we're still going to grease it, but you don't need to have the parchment paper. It just makes it easier. And of course, the main thing is we're going to do it on a reflector oven. Now this reflector oven is from Sweden. It's made by an individual. His name is, no, I may say it wrong, Sven Frieden. And it's a neat little reflector oven. I've done a review on it, and it pretty much collapses down into nothing, like literally flat. And so it's an ingenious design, and this is perfect. The baking pan fits right in there, and we'll put the bannock in there, and we've got the fire going. So we've got lots of firewood here, so we'll go ahead and bake that today and have that for lunch. So as you can see, it's pretty dry, so I'll probably have to add a little bit of water. There we go.